Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. You already know what it is, man. Let's get it going. Let's get it going, man. Definitely let's get it going. I'm going to welcome everybody on into another episode. Draft Day Recap for the Cleveland Browns. If you're going to be watching this later on, salute to you. If you're watching it on YouTube later on, I appreciate you. I want you to hit the like button too. I need you to hit the like button. I need the people that's in there right now to hit the like button. I need everybody to hit that like button. I mean, you need to make sure you share this. This is the stepping off point. This is the jumping off point for what we're going to do for 2021. Because the draft is over now. We're going to recap one hell of a draft. We're going to break down these picks, one hell of a draft. We're going to talk about the implications of what this means with the roster they have now. We're going to go and talk about defense, right? We're going to break it down as far as the schemes that they're going to run. How does this play into the role of the defense? We're going to break it down offensively. We're going to talk about the 2021 draft and how that basically catapults the Cleveland Browns. That basically puts the Cleveland Browns right now, in my opinion, in the driver's seat in the AFC. I'm not going to hedge my bets anymore. And simply the reason I'm saying that is, as I sit here and look at what we've done today, we've done nothing but continue to solidify the positions that we had in our mind that was something like we had to work on. And instead of resting on their laurels, and instead of coming out here and thinking they mailing it in, and instead of doing any of that, you know what they do? They come out and get better. They come out and still go out and get other things. They go out and solidify the offensive line. They go out and get more speed, more playmakers. They're doing all of these things right now. And I'm going to tell you what, this is probably, and I said this earlier in my radio show, this right here, the Cleveland Browns have the most talented roster that has ever been assembled in sports in Cleveland, period. Let that sink in a little bit. Let it sink in what I'm trying to tell you. The Cleveland Browns are the most talented team in any sport at any given time in the city of Cleveland. It's not even close at this point. We hold the Browns in our heart in a special place in the 80s. When you're a Browns fan and you go meet another Browns fan and you salute and you see somebody in the street, the first thing they do is what they tell you. I've been a season ticket holder since 1967, G. Bush. What's the first thing they tell you? My old ticket seats, Section C end zone, dog pound, the old municipal stadium. They got to give you, they're going to read you how much of a fan they are, right? They're going to give that to you. That's what the Browns fans do. They make you know that they're Browns fans. But even those guys back there, even the Slaughters, the Langhorns, the Eric Metcalfs. By the way, man, shout out to Eric Metcalf today by coming out here and doing, out there with Bernie and announcing one of our draft picks. But did you see what Eric Metcalf was doing? That brother was slick. That brother was slick, bro. He had his cowboy hat on. He looked like something out the Ponderosa, but it was like a hip hop Ponderosa. He had the black joint on, the long one. I said, look at Eric Metcalf over here. Look at Eric Metcalf trying to be in shape. They look like he still can run. He might go to the club after this. But even when we watched that, even when we saw, and we got nostalgia for those people back in the day, we got nostalgia for those teams. This team right here, every single level. And now I'm starting to see people come around to it. I'm starting to see people understand what the movement was. See, people thought that the Browns drafting are going to get these little pieces and parts of players. People thought that, oh, I'm just going to read into this. Clowney alone isn't going to get it done. Well, Andrew Berry was just telling y'all right now. Y'all don't know the whole plan. Y'all don't understand what I'm doing right now. Y'all kept running around here saying, you know how many people was wrong? Think about this. You know how many people was wrong about what the Browns' philosophy is? Right now, we gotta agree right now. We got to agree that we got to come to the conclusion that we can't just keep putting stuff on these people like we know what they're going to do. This is unpredictable. They are unpredictable in terms of what they are going to do. It's a handful of trail mix. You know how it is when you get that trail mix, you dig in there and you get some trail mix and then be having like that papaya, some walnuts, some peanuts, some M&Ms, some sesame sticks, dried raisins, sunflower seeds, all that good stuff. You know, you can't tell me how many sunflower seeds or Crispies you're going to get or M&Ms and that. You just got to grab a handful of it and enjoy the mix. Everybody else out here is trying to diagnose and read the tea leaves, man. We out here looking crazy. We was telling people all around the country, anybody that will listen, Browns don't value linebackers. No, G. Bush. Browns don't value linebackers. It's not what they do. They could get anybody to play there. They could get anybody to go up there. We don't need linebackers. Looks like we're wrong. Looks like you guys are wrong. Not only did we get linebackers, he went and got a linebacker in free agency. Then he went out and drafted a linebacker in the second round. And then he went and took another linebacker that I think still fits the scheme, still fits what they want to do. And that's the main thing that we're going to talk about today. That's the main thing we're going to talk about today. And before you get in here, definitely show love, share this video. Definitely share this video, like it. As always, thanks to anybody that support me via either G Bush Live or donations. I salute you for that. I salute anybody that's donating for super chats. I appreciate for that, you guys for that, because without that, I'm not able to produce content like this and bring it to y'all like I want to bring it to you. You see what this set looking like? You see what this wallpaper looking like? I'm all the way in New York right now. But I do appreciate you guys, all jokes aside, and definitely we're going to go through, man, and we're going to definitely talk about it. We're going to get to a lot of different stuff. If you do want to get in, we're going to be with you. I'm going to try to run up all the way into about an hour. I'm going to try to do an hour, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this thing and break it down. Let's go through this thing, pick back pick. And break down what these guys mean, and let's start talking about what it means in terms of the philosophy. Let's talk about in terms what it means for the philosophy. So, let's start back with Schwartz, right? Let's start back yesterday. So when I went on, I was so happy about Owusu Koromora. I was like, oh, I don't care nothing about. I don't care nothing else. They can go get 2 butter knives and a Happy Meal, and I will be fine. Wouldn't even care. Give me a 3-piece crispy nugget. Not 5, not 4. Man, does anybody remember out there? There used to be a mutiny. They about had a mutiny where I was at. When they started, when Wendy's started being like, we only giving you 4 nuggets, we like, what? Where they do that at? You gonna just take a nugget from a brother? You crazy. Y'all cats messed up. Let's get to this. We've already kind of talked about the first round. We'll glaze over that a little bit and we'll work our way through and get to where we need to go in terms of getting you updated on what we did in the second and third day here. So first round, pick 26, quarterback Greg Newsome, Northwestern. Now, a lot of people like me were a little upset. And I wasn't even really upset. I just felt that linebacker was the position that really could have got the Browns to a certain point. I really felt the Browns in the 4-2-5 scheme that they're going to be running. I really felt that they needed another linebacker to complement some of the things that they ask those linebackers to do in a 4-2-5, which is cover a lot. And so when I looked at this first pick, the 26th pick, I looked at it in terms of the Browns may not necessarily know what they want to do with Greedy Williams. They can't count on him coming back 85%. Trust me, I got nerve damage right now, and I ain't tackling nobody. I think the Browns learned their lesson last year. They learned their lesson, and they learned that you can't have enough corners back there because you got to think about this too. In terms of being up front in the line of scrimmage, when injuries happen up front, it's usually you get rolled on or leg whipped. You may have some injury, lower leg injuries, ankles. You know, when you're in the trenches fighting every single snap in the size of a phone booth, and when it's grown men and they moving that weight around, it's a problem up front. But corners, safeties, they not only are a little more injury prone than big guys because of the physicality, it's also because these guys are quick twitch athletes. What do you mean by that? These guys are running basically the whole game. They're running routes. Receivers are running routes. They throw the ball. They come back and do it again. They receiver go down the field. DB follow them. Come back, do it again. All those reps build up, and corners and safeties have the propensity to have soft tissue injuries. The hamstrings for corners are debilitating. And I know a lot of people are like, man, why is this guy out again? Why is this dude out there? How come he's not playing? He has to suck it up with a hamstring. I don't know if you guys understand. These people, when you get a severely pulled hamstring, it's best for them not to be playing, because all you're going to do is get mad, because all it takes is they think they're fine. All of a sudden it goes pop, and then now the receiver is streaking down the sideline wide open, and not only insult to injury, you lose the corner, you let them score a touchdown that might cost you the game, and you could have rested him this week and got him back when he was healthy. If you rush him back too quick, guess what? He's back on the IR when you could have just waited it out a little bit. That's why cornerback positions are very, very difficult to keep stockpiled, and good corners are hard to find. But when you're looking at Newsome for Northwestern, 6 foot 192, Chicago, first team All Big Ten selection, third team All American in 2020 season. He allowed just 31.6 completion rate to throws in his direction. Pro Football Focus, in a shortened season in the Big Ten, Newsome led the Big Ten with 10 pass defenses and did not allow a completion on third down. I repeat, you know how hard that is to do? To not give up a completion on third down? And that's where the Browns struggle. The Browns struggle getting off the field. How many times have we saw, 3rd and 7, and you're like, man, this is a great down to bring some pressure. Maybe we can get a sack. It's a predictable pass down. All of a sudden, the other team comes up, throws the ball underneath shorter to sticks. They may need 8 yards. They catch it at 3. First guy misses. Second guy misses a tackle. And then the third guy who hits him and doesn't drive his feet, doesn't bring his hips, and the receiver, the ball carrier, drags him for another 2.5 yards. First and 10, do it again. When you force somebody to make plays short of the sticks, you got to make sure you can finish on that. And I think the Browns were one of the teams that were the worst at that last year. He recorded his first career interception in a Northwestern 17-7 upset victory over number 10 Wisconsin. I take a look like this. I don't get wrapped up in interception totals. And the reason I don't get wrapped up in interception totals is this. Interceptions are really a function of being at the right place at the right time and being able to be lucky to a certain extent. Just jumping routes ain't a thing in the league. Teams are too good to be just jumping routes. Like, that's not a thing. So when you don't have that in terms of, hey, we don't have a situation where we believe that we have a guy who can cover and can't keep guys out of the back seven. I think they did a great I think they did a great job in addressing that. And the only reason that people were a little apprehensive is we saw what they got with Troy Hill. We saw what we got with John Johnson. We know what we got coming back with Delpit and Greedy Williams. I think people thought linebacker was a little bit more of a, how should I say it, glaring weakness. William Wise, man, thank you so much, my G. Thank you so much out here. William Wise, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you so much. You've always supported the show, and definitely a VIP member of the show, William Wise. Andrew Berry is out here in his lab coat. It's chemistry. It's chemistry. It's crazy out here, man. It's nuts out here. And the thing that I love about it most is he's never satisfied with what's going on, right? He's never satisfied with what's going on. You know what he's ready to do? He's ready to get that better. What we doing right here? Free cuts. That's you, my early Christmas cut. Magic man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna tell you this. Andrew Berry pulled off a heist, and it gets no more evident than with the next pick. You come back then at pick 52, and you get a guy that was, I checked the draft boards. I checked Kuiper, I checked McShay, I checked Pro Football Focus. And when I look at the grades for Owusu Koromoa, I look at the grades, and none of those people had him higher than 21st on their board as far as overall talent. Nobody had him dropping past 21 as far as the order in the best available talent in the draft. None of them. As a matter of fact, on ESPN, they said it was a less than a 1% chance that Cleveland would be able to get this guy at pick number 59. And what do? Just like they've always done, and just like they did last year with Grant Delpit, the Browns sent and take advantage of the opportunity. They sent a guy that was already going to be a guy that really fit well in their system. They already knew he was ready to fall down. So what they do? Let's jump up and go get him. Just like that. No hesitation. And that's the difference between this unit and what we're doing now and other units. Owusu Koromoa was the 2020 Dick Butkus Award as a top linebacker in college football. First team All-American, led Notre Dame with 11 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and also recording 62 tackles. He had a sack and a half, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups, and 12 starts. He's a Hampton, Virginia native. He actually was a 3-star coming out of high school, and he got redshirted. But he had a 2019 breakout campaign in which he led the team 80 tackles and had 13 and a half tackles for loss. This guy is the guy that I think transforms us. There's 2 people I'm going to really talk about a lot in this. He transforms us because now we definitely can play the 4-2-5. Because now one of the things that people are going to see is there'll be a rotation of these 4 to 5 players. And I think Anthony Walker will, with his athleticism, I think he will spot shadow and he'll be in there. I think the 2 guys that'll be there on certain base packages are Walker and Koromoa. But when it comes to the sub package and when it comes to bringing out defensive backs and trying to cover the spread and people spreading you out and throwing the football, there's no better pick in the draft than this. Because what you're going to see is you're going to have JOK playing one of the linebackers. I haven't seen what Delpit's mobility is like coming back from the Achilles heel. But if he does have that mobility and it is back, I think the person that now slides down in the box and plays beside him is Rodney Harrison. you'll see those two guys. Harrison is a little bit bigger player, a little more physical than I would say Delpit. And I think what you're going to see is Harrison playing the linebacker next to JOK. In your secondary, at your safeties, they'll have Grant Delpit playing strong safety, more along the lines of run support, but he's still going to be covering a lot of people. Still going to be covering people. And at free safety, you have John Johnson. Now, what that does is now you have Troy Hill, Denzel Ward on the one corner, and you'll still have an ability to have Greg Newsome or Greedy Williams fighting it out for that other starting corner position on the other side. What that does for you is you can now bring any of these guys or drop anybody you want. This is very important. Now with this pick, you can now drop anybody and lose nothing in coverage. There's no mismatches as far as saying, hey, we're going to put an isolated tight end or one of your linebackers. No, you're not. I think not. Go ahead. Because that ain't a linebacker. These are all safeties, low key. Not to mention, you can even get a little trickier if you wanted to, because you can bring the blitzes, out of that 4-2-5 coverage. But here's the thing. You can even throw in fire zone tendencies a little bit, because you can drop Jadeveon Clowney in coverage or Myles Garrett in coverage occasionally just to give him a little wrinkle, and you still won't miss much athleticism. And you're still not going to miss nothing. You don't know who's coming. Pre-snap, you can look over the defense and say, all right, what are they in? The first thing quarterbacks have to do is they have to figure out, where's the Mike linebacker? Well, guess what? If I got 4 safeties in the game, how do you decide which one's the Mike linebacker? You don't. You see, I'm just getting excited a little bit because I think you got to get this. The second thing quarterbacks are going to try to do pre-snap is I have to find out where the safeties are. Which is the free safety? Because usually he's the guy that's dropping into the thirds, right? But here's the thing. If you got Grant Delpit and John Johnson and they're interchangeable parts, one can be a strong safety on one play and then flip and be a free safety on the next play. So when you're trying to evaluate who you're making your reads off, it's a nightmare because you can't even do that with your linebackers. You don't know who the mic is, you don't know where the free safety is, and you don't know where the pressure is coming from. And you're not giving up much in any specific player that you put out there in coverage. That's why I'm excited. That's why people are supposed to be talking this talk. That's why what we're doing. Let's continue on. My man Rob Cunningham, make it a note to catch you on the air 10 a.m. tomorrow. As always, I told you I'm going overtime. Listen, hey man, we trying to get to the Super Bowl. I ain't got time to be tired. I ain't got time to be tired. We trying to go to this Super Bowl, my G. Earl, salute to you, my G, man. I appreciate you, man. Earl, shout out. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And congratulations, my brother. Congratulations. Give my man Earl a round of applause. Just graduated. Just graduated. I seen it on Facebook. Definitely appreciate you, man. Big things, like I said before, coming up for you. I appreciate you so much, my G. When we're going to talk about this, let's be clear with this. Let's go ahead and understand now where we go. I didn't get a chance to talk about this young fella. You come back at pick number 91 in the third round. Now, at this point, We all excited. We don't care. We don't care what they bring to the table. We excited about the first 2 picks. What does Andrew Berry do? What does he do? One of the things that we saw was one of the most glaring weaknesses on this unit, on the offense, was a lack of home run hitting capabilities. If I'm playing the Cleveland Browns and Odell Beckham Jr. is not on the field, me coming as a defensive player with a defensive minded in a discipline of that's what my forte is. If you ask me, how do you stop the Cleveland Browns? Well, I would say, well, if they get to running the ball on you, it's a long story. They're almost unstoppable, because if you can't stop Chubb and Hunt from getting 6 a pop, then they can run anything they want to, because now everything you don't know what they're running. You can't. It's a guessing game now. But if you can stop the run, like teams worked on last year, the Colts come to mind. How they run that Tampa 2, and it's very difficult to get off blocks and get around these linebackers that are running around flying. So if you can do that and you can make the Browns pass without Odell Beckham Jr., there's really nobody you're scared of deep. You're not scared of Jarvis Landry. I mean, he can hurt you, but he's hurting you in a different intermediate range, probably 7 to 12 yards. If you want to look at the Hoopers, he's going to hurt you to the sidelines, maybe over the middle. And Njoku is going to hurt you up the seam. But when you're talking about taking the top off of defense, without Odell Beckham Jr., what you started to see is teams say, go ahead, do something. We're not scared of Hollywood Higgins deep. We're not going to do that. And so when we saw that happen, I told myself, I said, listen, they're going to have to, and that's why and I'm going to get back to this too. This is why I be trying to break it down for y'all. And sometimes when I'm on the radio, I get frustrated because fans just want to be fans for the sake of being fans. Like, have some level of intelligence. And if you're going to say they don't need a certain position, at least take time to formulate why you think that way. Because anybody that knows football, anybody that understands the game knows that you have to have a threat. It's like you're a parent and your kid is 6 years old and you tell them, I trust you to go to bed anytime you want to. Just make sure you ain't sleepy in the morning. What? You can't call that. Like, you can't trust that. That's a pipe dream. And so when you look at what's going on with the Browns, people just kept saying this nonsense about we don't need receivers and we don't need this. And I'm sitting there thinking for the last year, where is this mentality of we don't need? Where did that come from? As a competitor and as a guy who's played the game, I'm always willing. I always want to do certain things to make myself eligible to get better talent. I don't care where it comes from. I always want to get better with talent. The things about you don't really need that. As you can tell, Andrew Berry is an astute general manager, not a fan. And he's very clear on what they need. So when you go get Anthony Schwartz from Auburn, you solidify yourself as having a roster with the fastest guy in the league. Now that you got the fastest guy in the league, and this is Tyreek Hill too, because Tyreek Hill is not faster than him. You see what we're talking about? Oh man, I get excited, man. Because for once, we going to get stuff that other people got. You see Tyreek Hill, and you're like, man, where did this dude come from? Oh, you were just running around doing what he want to. Now we get an opportunity to do the same thing. This kid ran a 10.05 in high school. You know how fast that is? That's Olympic game. He was 18 years old and ran a 10.5, 10.0. That's almost in the nines. So when Andrew Berry goes up and gets this kid, I'm like, oh, y'all done tripped. Woo woo. Y'all done messed up now. You done messed yourself up. Fooling around and made my light bill go up. Yeah, light bills is going up at First Energy right now. Price of tickets is going up too. Get ready for it. I don't want to hear it. Just get ready for it. Schwartz is considered to be one of the fastest players in this year's draft. Not considered, he is. Schwartz started games in all 3 years of his season at Auburn, posted his best numbers in 2020, 54 passes for 636 yards and 3 touchdowns. For his career, Schwartz caught 117 passes for 1,433 yards, 6 touchdowns. He also rushed the ball 42 times for 323 yards, 7 touchdowns. If you have not gone to do it, please just go and check it out. If you haven't by now, you definitely need to go check it out. There's also something, if you're on Twitter right now, check out my wall on Twitter. And there's a really good YouTube mini series about him. I think it's called Preparing or Path to the Draft or something along the lines. And it really details his life growing up in Florida with his mom and his grandmother, and talking about how he came to be a kid that went from playing center and Pop Warner to being an Olympic hopeful running track at Auburn and breaking the youth amateur record for the fastest 100-yard meter dash in high school history. He's a really good dude, smart, intelligent. He's quirky. He's just overall, man, I'm excited for the dude because he's a guy that you can root for. He's a guy that's very unassuming. And he's a guy that I definitely feel is going to have an opportunity to have the Cleveland Browns doing some different things. Look for the motions and the jet sweeps. You remember they were doing some of those type things with Odell Beckham Jr. last year. Odell Beckham Jr. won the game against the Cowboys on a reverse. The reverse passes with Jarvis and Odell. They were running those plays with those two guys. Now that you got a guy who, if you can get his hand on the ball and he get in a little open space, it's done. Done data. He's gonna be doing the Jamaican sexy dance in that end zone if you let him get it. So expect to see some of those plays go to Schwartz. And now what we can do is even more, it's just so exciting. It's even more exciting is the fact that now what you can have is now you have a balanced field. And as offenses go, they want to be able to attack all phases, all different quadrants, and all different spaces on the field. They've been able to do it. Even going back to the running backs, you got 2 dynamic running backs, but their running styles are different. So you got Nick Chubb that's doing something, and he's just stiff-arming people, and he won't go down. And then you get Kareem Hunt that comes in the game, and he's catching screen passes, running right through people. You got Jarvis Landry, who's a guy that is unguardable in 7 to 10-yard spurts. Getting out of routes, quick stuff. Can't stop him. He had 114 catches in Miami doing that. You get Odell Beckham Jr. back healthy. He's dominant from 15 to 25 yards. That's where Odell Beckham makes his money. 15 to 25. Route running ability. Able to make one-handed catches on the sideline. That's where he makes his money at. He can do the other things like go deep and get vertical. Trust me, he can do that. But where he excels is in the 15 to 25-yard range, and that's what OBJ does well. You got 3 tight ends with all different skill sets. Look at that. Add this kid to the mix, running 10-5s. We now have a kick returner. We now have a punt returner. We now have a smart kid. And now we have some different options where we can get people involved. And now, trust me, go ahead and put 2 people up there. We'll just run past you. We'll just run past you. Whew. Yo, my man, let's see what we got here. Anthony Jones. Demetric Felton, G. Bush. We haven't even, see, man, come on, Anthony. We ain't even got there yet. We ain't even got there yet. I can't get to it. I can't get to it, man. Man, I'll tell you what, man. Easy money, man. Let me get to the super chat, and I definitely want to thank you, Mr. Deacon Experience Channel. Thank you so much for supporting the barbershop and supporting what we're doing over here. I'm using all your info for my show tomorrow. Laughing out loud. Why didn't we get a DN? I don't trust Clowney. Much love. Here's. Let me tell you this. Here's why. When you're talking about the defensive end and you're talking about this, what we got to realize is a couple of things. Jadeveon Clowney you have to think of Jadeveon Clowney and Takk McKinley. Jadeveon Clowney and Takk McKinley are one person. Think of them as two separate entities, but by statistics, by production, you're looking to get one person's production out of those two. And what you've done is, even if Jadeveon Clowney is hurt, even if he's not playing, you still have Takk McKinley, who's a first-round talent, who's never going to get double-teamed, ever. He's not going to be double-teamed. Your secondary is upgraded to the point where now you get another second and a half to hold receivers at bay while you can get upfield and do your thing. Come on. Lou Thompson, thank you so much, man. Salute to you, my G. Love the show. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you and everyone out there that truly supports this. And you guys giving me that energy level. Today it was crazy. I did the show this morning from 8 to 12. I called myself, I'm gonna go lay down. Called myself about to go in there and lay down. And you know what? I couldn't even do it. And let me tell you why I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it because I had to come and see what y'all was talking about. I had to, because this is a one moment in time. I could sleep whenever, but this is one moment in time when the Cleveland Browns, we can say, point to the day that you knew the Cleveland Browns was going to be back on track and doing their thing. Today is that day. Today is the day that we found out that ain't no half stepping, that these people are about winning. I've never heard. See, here's the thing. I'll be laughing at people too. You see, here's the thing. I ain't saying no names. We're not saying no names out here. No names. No names, please. See, what y'all going to have to do, it's going to be a lot of people out here that got content. It's a lot of people that's doing shows around the country. It's a lot of people that write articles and do a lot of different things. But I'm going to tell you this. Y'all really going to have to earn your money now. You know why? All the low-hanging fruit, dysfunctional stories and articles, you can't write that. All them dysfunctional, it's a dumpster fire, and you get people the woe is me, that don't work no more. All of the, hey, I would rather have this player on this team or that player on this team, that really don't necessarily work no more. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Because the Cleveland Browns will be competent. They will be explosive. They will be dynamic. They won't hurt themselves in penalties, and they will be on TV every single week. So you might want to get in this lab with a pen and a pad. You might want to brush up on your film work. You might want to start talking about what people doing on this field, because right now the Browns is weeding people out. You can't be a lazy journalist to cover the Browns no more. You can't just throw stories out there and have low-hanging fruit. You can't do it. You're going to have to be breaking down what they're doing in the trenches, breaking down game plans, looking at film, breaking adjustments. You might even have to preview some stuff. Come on now. Let's get back to this draft, though. Let's get back to the draft. And as we said, man, if you want to get in You can definitely, super chat is available. Get your questions read immediately. We're going to talk about this. Here is the question I'm going to throw out to you guys. Chat, y'all ready? This is what I'm going to throw out to you guys. Ponder on it. Like, subscribe, share it. Have the Cleveland Browns overtaken the Kansas City Chiefs? Now, just don't throw that up there and say yes or no. Think about that. Think about what I'm asking you. Have the Cleveland Browns caught the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of we play them again? Kansas City's not necessarily a favorite. Have the Cleveland Browns systematically in one off season caught the Kansas City Chiefs? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Because I'm under the premise that if you look at this team, you look at this roster, you look at position for position, coach for coach, the Cleveland Browns, to me, are better than the Chiefs. To me, they just are. The upgrades and the way we'll be able to play Patrick Mahomes is different. Now, don't get it twisted. I got the utmost respect for what the Chiefs do. I think they're dynamic. I think Andy Reid can call a hell of a play. I think that Patrick Mahomes probably will go down after it's all said and done with as a top 5 quarterback in this game of all time. Just on skill set. If he don't play another down, just on skill set, Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest to ever put cleats on. But let me tell you something. The Cleveland Browns might be one of the best teams that ever touched down in the AFC North. And I'm not saying that hyperbole. I'm saying they got an opportunity to do something special. If Baker Mayfield can make that jump, and if he makes a jump like Josh Allen did, and he gets it in his mind, and I said this yesterday, it has to come a point in time where Baker Mayfield gets that Aaron Rodgers in him. And people are saying, hey, G. Bush, what are you talking about? Why would we? Aaron Rodgers is a diva. Why would you want Baker to have the mentality like Aaron Rodgers? You know why? Look at Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. To be successful in a situation like this, with this many people on your team, with this many one-year contracts, with this many people feeling like this is a make or break year for me, whether you are a contract, whether you think you might get cut, maybe they might ask you to take your pay cut, all the above, all of that. With all of that being said, your quarterback has to wield with an iron fist. He has to come into the huddle and he needs to tell everybody. And this is what I was saying last year. Baker Mayfield can do a lot of things, and he can do himself a help by coming and projecting this type of energy. Look, guys, I'm quarterbacking this thing. So I'm going to distribute. The Lakers don't tell Magic Johnson who open. Magic, no, look, I see you over there. Magic, oh, I see you over here. Magic create. Cooper and Worthy and big smooth Sam Perkins don't come tell Magic. You didn't see me over there. Hey, bro, I get you when I get you, dog. Don't be coming to me with that. I get you when I get you, bro. And when you bring that type of energy, and they know that I'm going to go to the right dude, you know what happened? Everybody run their routes hard. Everybody runs their routes hard. Everybody is carrying out their fakes and doing stuff because they know, even if I'm the backside receiver and the play's supposed to go front side, they know Baker Mayfield, if you open, I'm going to see you. So ain't no lollygagging and slouching off the line, half-hearted breaks. No, you running that route hard because if you know you open, that ball going to be put on you. And if you drop it, I'm going to let you know about it. See, that's the type of energy he got to have. All that, he feels pressured because of Odell Beckham. Listen, no. Tom Brady ain't never been. Tom Brady tell Randy Moss, hey, look, bro, I'm going to get you. But it's going to be when I see it, though. And if he operate under them pretenses, watch how receivers change. Watch how the offense picked up. Watch how people start moving around. It's going to be infectious because you never know when you're going to get the rock. It's going to be games this year. It might be Odell Beckham with 2-3 touchdowns. It may be the next week Kareem Hunt with a couple touchdowns. It may be Nick Chubb with 100 game. It may be Jarvis Landry. Every single week it'll be a different person. But he got to establish that today. You got to establish that right now. Hey, man, I'm on the phone with my guys. Hey, bro, this is how we moving. You see what we got? Remember this. Don't be talking to me crazy in October. Remember I had this conversation with you. Let's get back to it, bro. Let's get back to it, man. Oh, man. It's just, that's the type of time we got to be on, man. Man. That's where we have to be when we trying to do something and do something special. Let me take a couple questions out of here, man. Let me take a couple questions. Chiefs check, Ravens check, Bills check. I like that energy, man. I like that energy because I definitely think that they got a little something. I think they came away from that. You remember you go check the old stream out. Check that stream. Check how mad I was. Go back and watch that. I did a live stream this year after the Chiefs game. Check that out. Check how mad I was at Joe Woods. Check how mad I was at players because I think we squandered something. And not only did they come back and be like, we got you, G. Bush. We got you like that. We got you. Not only did they say you got us, they upgraded everything. They upgraded everything. You ever see those home decorating shows? Where they come in and make over your whole house, right? It got to a point, you know what I'm saying? Like it got to a point. They got so good at remodeling and making the houses. They was like, you know what? Why are we just gutting this whole house and putting new stuff in it? We might as well just tear this down and make a whole new house. These cats just started tearing down people's old houses and giving them new houses. Like, nah, that season three, we can't be doing that. Get rid of everything. Joe Woods came in here. He told Kevin Stefanski, hey, man, y'all setting me up to fail. Don't hit me with the Hugh Jackson. Y'all better not Hugh Jackson me up here. You set me up to fail. You got 23 back there. You get me somebody, man. Kevin Stefanski was like, we'll get you somebody. Boy, did they get everybody. Defensive ends, linebackers, drafting speed. We out here looking like some Thundercats. Royal Band says the Browns' depth is deep. The Browns have enough talent. That OBJ is just another talented guy. That's what I'm talking about. Royal Brand, shout out to you, my G. You know why I got so excited about that? Because that's what I did earlier today. I was sitting there thinking on my show, I was talking to the producer in the break, and I was sitting there thinking like, hey, man, I'm not even thinking about Odell Beckham Jr. I was thinking of the playmakers that we had on this team, and it was like 12 people that I had thought of before I even got to Odell Beckham's name. And that's how exciting it was because I'm looking around like these guys are really stacked. He's one of the guys that can potentially get the rock. Think about that. How far we've come in a couple of days, bro. This guy said, hey, listen, y'all crazy. Can you say 20-0? Y'all cats crazy, man. This is this y'all cats crazy. Jay, man, if we stay healthy, we're the team to beat. Road goes through Cleveland. Hey, and I said this before too. Shout out to you guys. As always, if the Cleveland Browns get home field advantage and they got to come to that and they got to come down to First Energy and it's cold, it's about 12 degrees, and you playing the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes is out here trying to throw the football and it's 12 degrees and we got that big, ugly offensive line, aggressive, sweaty, just over touchy and handsy. We got that offensive line coming down here and we got 2 running backs and it's 12 degrees outside. And we got defensive end that's running 4.6s, running around here with, if Lamar Jackson is that guy, stop it. Quit playing with me, man. Quit playing with me. Good luck doing that. Good luck. You not coming to First Energy Stadium and it's 12 degrees and throwing the ball 100 times. Good luck with that. We coming out there with 5 tight ends. 5. And we got a fullback on the roster. We'll just come out in that and just run that the whole second half. That's why I'm so excited about it, because it ain't about just one person. It's the depth that we got moving around. And speaking of depth, let's keep going back to the depth and talking about what the Browns did in this draft. Salute to everybody out there. If you are here, we had a goal of 10. We had a goal of 10 super chats. Right now, we're already at 5. We halfway home. I ain't even done talking about the first round. Salute to y'all. I wasn't even done talking about the first round yet, and we halfway there at 5. I appreciate you guys. Also, you could go and you could check out gbush.live/tip, and you can support that way as well. And you can do that as well at gbush.live. Let's get to the 4th round. 4th round pick 110. They get James Hudson from Cincinnati. Now, let me tell you this. This guy was a ball player. He played at Cincinnati, but let's be clear. He was a commit to Michigan. He played at Michigan. He transferred to Cincinnati. This guy has talent. Hudson, a Toledo native who began his college career as a defensive lineman at Michigan. That's a thing, too. When you get converted defensive lineman and they go to offensive lineman, that means automatically they a little more nasty because you're an attacker than defense. That already means you got a little better foot than everybody else. When you playing defensive line, you got to have feet. So you got feet, you got a mean streak, and you have some athleticism because you was a defender. He started 10 games this past season for Cincinnati, earning first-team All-American Athletic Conference honors and an invite to the Senior Bowl. Hudson redshirted this season with the Wolverines and was converted from defensive line to offensive line. He appeared in 2 games in 2018, and that would end up being his final season in Michigan. He sat out all of 2019 before taking a full-time role in 2020. They get this kid in the 4th round, and he did his thing in the Senior Bowl, and he really made his money in the Senior Bowl. That's where you see people start to move the stock up. And this guy was a guy that you heard about during the Senior Bowl practices, dominating, athletic, punch, hand placement, speed, agility, able to capture the outside shoulder in terms of zone plays. And they're going to use this guy as a swing guy. And this is very important to see right here because you got to think about it. And I think I'm going to do I talked about this a little bit earlier in my show. And pretty soon, one day, I'm going to do a salary cap show. I've been doing a lot of research and doing different things on the salary cap. And because I wasn't finding the answers that I wanted. I wasn't finding the answers that I wanted in terms of how much can you pay somebody and all these good different things and how much the cap is projected to go up. But I'll tell you this. They got this guy as a tackle. They have him as a swing position up front. They want to move him to guard, tackle. He'll be at that swing position. And this means Chris Hubbard might be up out of here. That's what that means. And so when you look at this situation, I think you also have to take a look up front. Wyatt Teller Keep in mind, Wyatt Teller is 27 years old. Y'all would not understand how much money this man is making. Wyatt Teller is getting about $600,000 a year. Base salary. Do you know the highest paid guard, I think is Brandon Sharif for Washington football teams. He's making $18 million as a guard. Wyatt Teller was a 92% grade on Pro Football Focus. The best run blocking lineman in the game he was rated. He's making $600,000. Just to even get him respectable into where he deserves as far as his talent, he's going to have to get anywhere from $12 to $13 million. Now, mind you, you're paying Joe Bitonio about 10. Mind you, you're paying J.C. Treader a lot of money. So it's important that the Cleveland Browns hit on some of these picks, because at some point, one of those guys is going to have to take a pay cut, and one of those guys may not get any extensions. Now, they better sign Teller. He's 27 years old. He's a guy that I think is a key to the game. But you also have to take in consideration that Nick Chubb wants a bag too. And he's getting paid $1.6 million. And arguably he's the best running back in the league. I digress. I'm just trying to give you that. I'm just trying to give you the picture. Let's see. Cleveland BCL says Joe Woods takes his foot off the gas again. He needs to go. Dallas, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh games had me mad as you know what last season. Oh, you won't have no problem with that this year. You shouldn't have no problem with that. Why would you have a problem with that this year? You got everything you want. You got the whole world in your hands. You got everything, bro. Why would he take his foot off the gas? No, that's definitely not a thing. Let's get to the fourth round pick 132. Tommy Togai. I'll tell you what. I like this pick. Not because I'm a homer. Everybody knows me. When we talk about college football, I root for the Bobcats because that's who I play for. Everything else, I'm just watching the games, enjoying the good games. Tommy Togai, I'll tell you what. First of all, he's strong as an ox. This guy's benching. He tried to break the record for bench presses of 225. Now, guess what? I went to when I did pro day, I had to train a year to even get close to the 30s. The most I've ever benched is 29 times for 225. And I almost lost my soul giving it up, trying to put 225 up 29 times. Do you know how much 40-something reps is? That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Togai appeared in 33 games over 3 seasons with the Buckeyes. He is from Idaho, which is kind of crazy. He had his best year in 2020, earning second team All Big Ten honors after recording 23 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. And all 3 of those sacks came in the Buckeyes win over Penn State. Go back and check that out. I suggest you go back and check his footage out against Penn State. He really helped himself a lot. I think the reason he's in the 4th round and he got drafted in the 4th round is that tape. He's not a crazy athlete. He's not a guy that's going to wow you like Aaron Donald in a 3 technique. He's not a guy that's just mad powerful, and it's just going to be like a Vince Wilfork or anything back in his day. But what the guy does, he brings a passion to the game. He gets everything he can out of his body. He hustles. He never gives up on plays. He's stout in the middle. He doesn't give up much ground in terms of double teams or when they're trying to run a zone. I think this is just another solid pickup. Another solid one. And here you're going to be able to see something. Sheldon Richardson is a guy that I think the Browns, if they're looking at it, may try to bring him back at a reduced cost. But if you got young guys like this who show improve, I don't expect Sheldon Richardson to be back, because a guy like this can give you comparable numbers that was Sheldon Richardson was giving you for 12 or 13 million a year. So I really like this pick. I like it a lot. Adds depth up front. Younger defensive tackle with a motor, and that's what we need. Often too many times when Larry Ogunjobi was in that game, he's athletic. He can get a field, but he gets abused on a double team. I seen dudes stumping a mud hole in him. I seen him get, oh my goodness. I mean, he was trying to, fight off blocks. I'm like, man, why you by the goalpost? You do know we way back up here by the 40. What you doing back there getting drove back so far? All of those things are quite alarming. And I knew he wasn't going to be a guy. He wasn't going to be a guy that could have got that off. Was not going to be a dude who definitely got that off. I'm looking at it in terms of this. I look at it and I say, through four picks, I'm telling you this. Through 4 picks, he hasn't missed yet. He ain't missed yet. He just simply hasn't. Highway robbery again. Highway robbery. How many times we got to put it up here? How many times have we got to keep putting it up here for people to see? G. Bush, man, AB out here doing his thing. Dorsey jumped it off, but Andrew Berry seems to be bringing it home. Oh yeah, he's knocking in all kind of runners on second base. These are shot gaps. These are line drives in the gap. We 1 runs home, 2 runs home. Berry's gonna turn this into a triple, and he's standing up at third base. Boy, man, it's crazy, man. It just don't make no sense. Let's keep it moving. I just want to talk a little bit. We at 6 now. Clap it up. 4 more to go before we reach our goal. Shout out to the individuals out here supporting me with the super chat. I definitely appreciate you. Let's get back to, let me pull this down. Let's get back to 5th round pick. 5th round pick. This is even cohesive. See, there's no fluff here. The front office, there's no fluff here. They have a goal. They have something in mind that they want to do. What they have a philosophy. So when you look at this and you look in the 5th round, they never deviate from what their philosophy is. You say, well, what is that, G. Bush? You look at when they draft at pick number 153, 5th round, they take linebacker Tony Fields II out of West Virginia. Now, this guy's a 6 foot, 6 foot and a half, 220-pound guy. 10 years ago, that's a corner. Safety, possibly. But now that's the new evolutionary step of what you need to have at linebacker. Remember what I talked to you about before. When you got KOJ, when you got him playing that position as a weak side, linebacker, usually they call it like Lou and Ringo. Lou is for left, Ringo's for right. Usually whoever the strong position is in that usually is going to go to the formation. So I would probably say that you will always see in that situation more times than not KOJ kind of doing that. But as they get comfortable, expect them to be shifting and moving positions throughout the snaps. You don't ever know what he's going to be playing. He might be the Will. He might be the Lou. He might be the weak or the strong. He might be just dropping it as a safety. You're going to see a lot of that. But let's get to Tony Fields. Guy was from Arizona, and he's just another dude. And they explained it as being the KOJ out west, right? The JOK out west. Because he has some of the same traits that Owusu Koromoa has, but he does it just a little bit slightly at a lesser level with a little less upside. But the athleticism, but the multiple ways that he can cover people, that the way he can run from sideline to sideline, the instinctual ball habit skills of knowing where the football is and just finding a way to get there. He has all those things. Fields spent his first 3 seasons at Arizona before transferring to West Virginia. He emerged as an immediate starter with the Mountaineers and won Big 12 New Defensive Comer of the Year after leading the Big 12 in tackles per game. So this guy comes in, 1-year starter in West Virginia, and comes in and gets 10 tackles a game. Coming in right in 10 tackles a game. He finished the season with 88 tackles to lead the Mountaineers and added 1 interception. Definitely take a look at his tape as well. He's a guy sideline to sideline, moving around, making plays. And you can see that they're only drafting guys that fit their mentality. We want versatile. We want ball hawks. We want people that can run. And we want people that are smart. One plan. One order, one plan. I feel like I'm doing drumline. One band, one sound. Let's get to the fifth round pick. Pick 169. Richard LeCounte. Richard LeCounte, a former 5-star recruit, was a 3-year starter for the Bulldogs, registering 8 interceptions over those 3 seasons. He was a first-team All-SEC selection after posting 26 tackles and 3 interceptions in 6 games. Once again, and notice something here too. Notice something here a little bit too, people. You notice something? See, there's a difference between this regime and other regimes. Other regimes used to come in here and try to get cute. Oh, we're going to get cute. We're going to take somebody we don't even know nothing about. Notice the names of these programs. Northwestern, Big 10. Notre Dame is independent, but they played in the ACC. Played Clemson twice this year. Auburn, SEC. Cincinnati, but he was at a Big 10 school in Michigan. Ohio State. We just had Tony Fields from the second from West Virginia. We get there down to the 5th pick. We got Richard LeCounte, and he is from Georgia, SEC, and he's a 3-year starter, first-team All-SEC. Another safety. As you can see, he continues to stockpile and continues to stay on what the focus is. Can you run? Check. You got some instincts? Check. And you know how to line up and do multiple things? Check. Let's go ahead and talk to him. Before I get to this next guy, let me get a couple questions here from the chat and get your stuff in here. Let me get a couple questions from the chat before we get back to the last pick of the draft. I want to salute everybody out here. Man, this is great, man. 3rd day of the draft. This is really great. You know, right now it's 10:35 on a Saturday. You guys could be anywhere. You guys could be hanging out with your family, enjoying good weather. But I appreciate that right now there's 117 people that's rocking with me still consistently on 3 different platforms. And I'm excited to have, a growing number of people that are supporting the live. It was a little shaky in the beginning because, I put my own money into it. I put my own time into it, and I got to have it a certain type way. So I'll be getting mad frustrated when I don't like streams dropping. I don't like none of that. But right now it's 113 people that's watching right now. And I salute you guys for rocking with me and during this draft process, man. Let's see. Let's do this, man. I wonder if we wanted Nico Collins in the third when Houston traded up for in front of us. I think it might have been a situation where they had him on the board a little bit. I think he might have been on the board. But the great thing about having a team that understands what you need to do and understands that we're going to continue to scout and do it in a high level, they already had people marked and pegged saying, if that guy in here, we'll go get this one. And I'm going to be clear. There's sometimes that I think the Cleveland Browns didn't even have that. In the past, you would see the Browns may wanted a guy. And if that guy wasn't there no more, all of a sudden they just say, okay, well, let's just draft this guy. Like, you can't tell me they planned on drafting Cam Irving. You can't tell me they planned on that. When you said Barkevious Mingo, I was just like, I mean, think about the levels to this. Think about this. These Browns don't draft nobody. These Browns don't draft nobody in the top rounds that ain't productive, that ain't doing nothing. Furthermore, the great things that they do, you know what they do? They turn around and walk away and say, well, we're going to come back and get that. We'll come back and get that in the second round. And when you get a Koromo at 52, man, it set everything up you want to do, man. It set up everything. Man. Oh, JY, thank you so much for the super chat. I definitely appreciate you, my brother. And your assessment is correct. The Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to put an APB out there for all you Madden players. The Cleveland Browns might be a team you can't play with this year. I thought I would never hear that in my life. I thought I would never hear in my life that the Cleveland Browns are too good to play with on Madden because it's kind of cheating. I mean, but Schwartz will have a 99 speed. And let's be clear about Madden. There's only a couple things that matter, and speed is one of them. If you can get him to rock and move him around, it's going to be a problem. The Browns going to be crazy. Browns going to be annoying as heck on Madden online. Appreciate you, man. I definitely shout you out. Darko Petrovic says, yeah, I agree with D. Wright. Forgot about him. I think right now, when you look at this thing, you're going to forget about a lot of people during the season. It's going to be a lot of people that might not get no touches. It's going to be some people that may lose or out on a little bit. What veterans need to be looking over their shoulder? That's another great question. Matt Wilson, D. Wright says, Matt, who's one of those people? Let's go ahead and just foreshadow this. That's one of them. I mean, come on, think about what they did. They got Anthony Walker, free agent. JOK, second round pick, will probably be starting. Drafted another linebacker late. They still got Taki. They still got Smith. They still got those guys, Matt Wilson that you're trotting out there. So when you're looking at the situation and you asking yourself, well, what the heck are they going to do? Those people are casualties coming up. There is going to be some people on this team, and we already seen it with Sheldon Richardson. There will be some people on this team that are actually very good. Let me give you a sleeper on this one. I don't think they would do it. Because this is only his second year. But a guy that could be a candidate is Hooper. If you look at it, like, think about it like this. What if David Njoku says he has a crazy year this year? What if he puts up 8 touchdowns, 900 yards? Something crazy, right? What happens to you making Hooper one of the highest paid tight ends in the game? Like, do you say, wow, David Njoku is younger, he's faster, he has more upside, he has more talent. Are we really going to let him walk? Because here's the thing. I mean, they could have traded him for something this year. They could have packaged him up this year. But obviously they didn't do that because guess why? He's actually a good ball player. So there's a lot of people. Greedy Williams is another one. But I think we already knew that, right? We kind of already assumed that. I don't see anybody on the offensive line going nowhere. No running backs going nowhere. It's hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make this team as a receiver. Think about it. Most teams only dress 5, 6 receivers, maybe 6 receivers. So you got to be able to play special teams. You have to, because if you take 6 receivers with you, 3 of them receivers better be on your kickoff or gunners or punt or special teams units. Because if they're not, you can't justify putting them on the active roster, because you still need those positions for people to round out your special teams. So if you look at it from a receiving core, we already know that you got Jarvis, you got Odell, and you got Hollywood Higgins. Them 3 is already sold up a doggone near. They just drafted Schwartz. That's 4. Donovan Peoples-Jones played well last year. That's 5. So it comes down to this next guy, and we'll talk about him as a great segue. 6th-round pick, Demetric Felton. Now, we got a dude that we drafted, or actually we traded for from Tennessee. And his name always, just basically eludes me, because he was supposed to be a free agent that could contribute, and he just came in here and did nothing. So he always gets me with that. I don't know who his name is. If you guys can remember who it is, go ahead, put that in the chat. Go ahead and tell me who that is, man. 6th-round pick, 220 in the 211th pick. You got receiver / running back Demetric Felton. Here's another guy, and another one, and another one. Here's another guy that is just playmaker. He can run. He can move. He got jet sweep capabilities. He got, quick screen, just explosive, in general, explosive ability with the ball in his hands, run after catch. Felton was used as a receiver and running back during these 4 seasons with the Bruins. This past season, he started 5 of 6 games and amassed 668 rush yards, 5 touchdowns to go along with 22 catches for 159 and 3 more scores. Now, hold on, just to be clear. Let's be clear. He only played 5 of 6 games. Let this sink in. He only played 5 of the 6 games. And he still had 700 yards almost rushing and 5 touchdowns. And he caught 22 passes for another 159. So this dude was electric. He was dominant. And every time he touched the ball, he was taking it to the crib. For his career, Felton rushed for over 1,000 or 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, caught 99 passes for another 958 yards and 8 touchdowns. He hauled in a career best 55 passes for 594 as a junior in 2019. And this is the guy you got in the 6th round. This is the guy you got in the 6th round. Ain't no crazy. It just ain't crazy. It's just, I still don't understand it, but I'm going to take it. Let me see what we got here, man. We gonna, we at 10:45, we're going to wrap it up here in a second, but you do have an opportunity. Questions, right? Get your questions in now. If you got a question about what we're looking for next year. If you have a question, what do you think, keys to next year, the 2022 draft, any of that stuff, get those in right now. And we're going to try to get those in within the next couple of minutes before the stream ends. But right now, everybody, this is a situation where everybody in this season, eyes will be back on Cleveland. Go to the chat really quickly. I asked the question, what player, it might be a cap casualty, might be a dude that might not make this team because it's just so deep. Darko Petrovic says Hubbard. He also said Matt Wilson. Let's see. Bob Gruel says Derek Willis. That's another guy that I think may not make it. He got called back up last year because remember we had the COVID situation where we didn't even have no receivers. We just out there with tight ends. I can't believe that still happened. We got a Cordero Hodge. Here's another one. Roy, you funny. Red wine is gone. I think his days are numbered. We got 96 safeties. They just drafted 2 more safeties, right? They went and traded for a safety last year. They just brought in some free agent safeties. Yeah, Sheldrick Red wine better have the camp of his life. He better turn into Woodson Palomalu. They'd be like, who is that? That's a mix between Charles Woodson and Troy Polamalu. You better turn into that, bro. You better get it done. What's in Polamalu? What another tackle? See, man. Hunt, OBJ, and Landry. Do we have them next season? That's a good question. Hunt, OBJ, Landry. Do we have them next season? Kareem Hunt's definitely going to be on the squad. It's a toss-up between Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry has a leg up because, he's a really good locker room guy, and I think, they actually view him as a piece. They view him as the dude that really kind of turned it around. But Odell Beckham is more talented than Jarvis Landry. So I think for both of them to be here, here's what needs to happen. Jarvis needs to get about 1,100 yards. Odell Beckham Jr. needs to have about 1,300 yards. If he goes back to 1,300 yards and is he explosive and he plays all the games and he's able to do that on a consistent basis, I think the Browns they won't mind biting the bullet and trying to work something out. Because this is a year that, to be honest, Odell Beckham Jr. needs to have a year like that to get back to the point where he's recognized as one of those top receivers. And I think that's the thing that's burning him right now is the fact that he feels like people don't believe that he still has that level of talent. And, trust me, when I've had, like I said, well-documented 13 surgeries. When you have that much surgery, you start to question yourself. You're only human. You start to say, man, I've never been this hurt before. I've never had to worry about that before. All those things come into your head. So he's been injured 3 years in a row now. He needs 1,300 and about 8 touchdowns in order for him to get to a point where he solidifies himself and stamps himself on his team to say he has to perform so well that people say we can't afford to give him up. Somebody gonna have to take a pay cut somewhere else. We can't afford to do it. What do we got here? Let me see what we got. Where do you have our defense ranked among the league after this draft? Whew. I think when you're talking about where our defense is right now and where they have the capability of getting to, I think our defense right now, in my opinion, is top 3. My opinion is top 3. I think Tampa Bay is good. I love Tampa Bay's linebackers. I like their scheme. But even if you look at what Tampa Bay is able to do, we got the best defensive lineman there. So even when you look at the defense, you say, okay, well, who's better? You can arguably say that we probably have one of the better corners, right? With Denzel Ward. John Johnson is the best safety on the field, bar none. We got him. Myles Garrett is the number 1 defensive lineman on that field. He's the number 1 overall defensive player on both teams, no matter who it is. And you've also upgraded as far as athleticism goes along your defensive front. When it comes to athleticism, there's nobody can see the Cleveland Browns. Athleticism and versatility and what they're able to do schematically with the skill sets that the people got, not debatable. Nobody has that. Nobody has 2 defensive ends that run 4.5 and 4.4, and another dude that's coming off the bench running high 4.5 as well, and a linebacker that's running 4.4, and multiple. They just don't have that. They don't have that. Oh, let's see. Dearness Johnson. Dearness Johnson. This is a little difficult, man, because I don't know who they're going to bring in as an undrafted rookie free agent. Usually, generally speaking, they keep 3 running backs, and he'll probably be the 3rd running back or whatever. But he's going to have to be a special team contributor. He's going to have to get into that. Let's see. Cordell Howard will be gone. One more. Let's see what we got. Appreciate you. One more. Wyatt Teller. Can we keep him? And will we keep him? Let me give you this thing about Wyatt Teller. And I think the situation is with Wyatt Teller is this. Right now, he's making about $1.6, $1.7 million. He's going to probably demand anything over $10 million. That's just the reality of it. How can they get him for that price? What are they looking to spend? And do they think one of the guys that they've drafted, maybe a Nick Harris, maybe the kid from Cincinnati that they drafted this year, do they think they can be better than that? Also, you have to take a look at this as well. Treader is getting up there in the 30s, and before you know it, Joe Bitonio is now 30 years old. You know, before you kind of know it, you blink and guys are just old. So that's another thing that we're looking at. I think the kicking game is in trouble. We need to get the kicking game solidified. I mean, is Phil Dawson still available? I know you might not be able to kick it from 40, but I know we can bring you in for extra points, Phil Dawson. I know you can come in for extra points. It's 30 yards. We could just split it up. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Let's see. Kareem Hunt's not going nowhere. Let's see what we got, man. Dimitri Felton would be in the line to be that 3rd running back if it's not Dearness Johnson. Facts. And that's another situation where I think there'll definitely be people who are competing for that role. But one of the things is, and I just want you guys to remember this, there's going to be some people that are going to get cut from this team. They can't keep everybody. There's not even very many positions opening for playing times. Like if you're a receiver, they brought their top 4 receivers back. You know, I don't know. They got a dynamic duo in the background at running back. So I don't know how you go about getting minutes. How do you crack a offensive line unit unless somebody gets hurt when you have the best offensive line in the game? You know, it's just hard it's starting to get more progressively hard to get minutes at safety and corner because we got like a 90 of them. You just drafted one in the 1st round. And all the dudes you bringing in is glorified safeties anyway. Salute to you guys, man. It's crazy, man. Right now, the stream just keeps going up. We at 176 right now live. I appreciate you if you are on Twitter. I appreciate you if you're on Facebook checking me out on the Barbershop fan page. I want to thank you guys for checking in with me today. I definitely want to thank you guys for saluting on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And please do so. Please do so. Please subscribe to the channel, man. And we will get to you, man. Let's see. One more. Could Teller kick to left guard and replace Bitonio? Big decisions to be made. I think that might be a thing. Bitonio, depending on if he falls off or depending on if he gets hurt, Teller can definitely come in and play for him. I mean, he's the best. He's the better of the 2 linemen. You know, the only thing I'm worried about a little bit is injuries. You know, he was nicked up and dinged up last year. How is he going to come back this year? Hopefully we can keep him and be able to continue to develop him because I think he has, I mean, he's a special dude. He's a special dude. And so let's get to, let's see. Mr. Vintage, shout out to you, my G. Strange to say, but it's been awesome being a Browns fan for the last couple years. The 10 before that, not so much. I'm going to say it, you know, for me, I'm just happy to be around during this time. I'm just happy to be around during this time because we took L's for so long, and there's so many different people out there that have taken L's that have watched the Cleveland Browns. There's so many people that watch them and take L's, man. But the crazy part about it is I got goosebumps just by watching, the draft, just seeing all those people out there, just seeing like everybody just pumped. Like we wasn't even involved. We was just there. You could tell we arrived. We wasn't there like with angst. It's almost like, you send your kid off to college and one day you look up, he's like a junior and you don't have to tell him to study. Like he comes home and he studies on his own. Like he starts to develop this self-image where he's doing things for himself. He's self-actualizing and taking control of his life. And he just has this little aura. He has a new aura. Like you can always tell when somebody is matured and just grown up. Like the experiences of life have really made them grow up, and now they're on a different level. And so the Cleveland Browns are kind of like that in the fan base. The 11-5 record, we did so many things to eliminate it. Like we there was a chance or a spot during the season at the end where it looked like we might not be able to clinch the playoffs because we had so many teams with all these scenarios of everybody having the same thing, same schedule, same strength of schedule, same record. And we ended up pulling it out. We had to win the last game of the season, and we did it, and we beat Pittsburgh. Then we had to come back again. COVID hits. You not only had to have people out, but you have your head coach. Think about how improbable. I keep thinking about that now. Think about that. The Browns clinch a playoff berth, and Coach Stefanski can't even be there. The guy that had Baker Mayfield looking good, the guy that resurrected the run game, the guy that made a way out of no way when OBJ went down, all these things, and then you lose the play caller, and he can't even be there. And not only did they not miss a beat, they came into that game and beat the brakes off the Steelers like they stole something. They beat the brakes off of them. And that just goes to show you that the tides is changing. Tides is changing, man. And I'm not going to hold nothing back on this one. You know how many times we used to get laughed at and clowned? I couldn't wear no orange. I couldn't wear none of my stuff proudly. All I hear is people want to be stand-up comedians saying the old garbage, the lake is on fire and all these low-hanging fruit comments. And you know what? We took that. We took that on the chin. And we still came and supported our squad. We still was supporting them. Mad as hell on Sunday. Didn't want to talk to your wife. Really didn't want to show up to work on Monday. Because the Browns got the brakes beat off of them in another way. They found a way to lose the game. But now, no such thing. I'm not copping out to nothing. My expectations are high. Your expectations should be high. You remember this. Remember how it felt when we was getting laughed at. So when the talking heads try to tell you, because it's coming, when the talking heads come and knock at your door and say, well, you remember with the Cleveland Browns, remember they had OBJ that one year and Freddie Kitchens was a coach and we hyped them up and they turned around to be terrible. Don't let them back. Don't let them talk you out of nothing. Don't let them talk you into something. The same way they keep trying to talk us into why would you? I see Stephen A. Smith. I see all these other dudes. Every other week, Odell Beckham Jr. has to go. I think it would just be better for him to get a better start. Do you think we stupid? Do you think we dumb? Do you think that we don't understand that you probably would want him to get traded? You probably don't want to see him on the squad. You probably would want him to go somewhere else because that means you don't got to deal with him. You ain't got to deal with him getting one-on-one coverage. And these guys sit up here under these microphones and think they're so smart that they're going to underhandedly give you these stupid schemes where you just going to think, Well, you may be right. Why don't we just hand Odell Beckham Jr. to Tom Brady? Because Tom Brady just deserves to win every year. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear to sing the praises of Tom Brady no more. Stop trying to come poach our players so you can write in your dynasty logs about how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Haven't you guys learned something yet? Bill Belichick can't walk on water. I didn't see nothing crazy last year. I saw a bunch of losing, and I saw a bunch of guys that didn't have talent. But I thought Bill Belichick can walk on water. The Patriot way, he just does it better. Bill Belichick has 26 hours in a day. You didn't even know, did you? He gets an extra 2 hours for being a Patriot. Boy, if you don't get up out of here with that, man, I want to thank you. Let's see what we got, man. Hey, Mr. Vintage, man, thank you so much. Great show, man. Love listening to a fellow fan. Cheers, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you. And I'll tell you this, and we'll go with this. Barry ain't listening to them media members. OBJ is a Brown this year, and at least at least he gonna make him pay this year. And that's what we're saying. We don't know what we holding. We don't know what's gonna hold for him. We don't know what's gonna be in store for him coming up. But I will tell you this: we ain't giving up nothing for free. If you thought we was backing down, sorry, not happening. Not happening. And so what I want to do, man, I want to thank you guys for supporting me. Check me out tomorrow. Check me out tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right back on 92.3 The Fan. If you're out and about and you can't really watch it, download the Odyssey app and you can rewind the barbershop. We got some great guests coming up tomorrow. We'll be talking to Mary Kay Cabot. We'll talk to her and see what's going on with that. I'm going to see if I can get my man Quincy Carrier on the sticks. We're going to talk to him about a little bit of Browns. We're going to sprinkle in a lot of different things. We're going to break this down, and it's going to be a very good show. Check me out 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., or you can check me out on the Odyssey app, and you can do that as well. I want to say today, and wow, you guys continue. You guys continue to show love, man. Joey M., thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you guys for contributing and helping be part of the show. Talking Heads will always find a way to discount the Browns. I've learned to ignore them. Go Browns. And I'll tell you what, they ain't got nothing for us. And get ready, because we got to play the schedule game too, man. The schedule coming out, we're going to be on Thanksgiving. We're going to be on Christmas. We're going to be on Thursday night. We're going to be on Sunday night. We might even be playing on Saturday night too. They might just switch up and just give us that. Yeah, man. Quincy on 92. Yes. You know how we give it up, man. So as always, please like, please share, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And you know how we always do it, just like they was doing it. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Who? Super Bowl. Super Browns. We up out of here. Ooh, yeah.